up, all you wonderful, beautiful, amazing human beings? I am so grateful to have you here for the 5th episode. Whoop whoop, cheer, applause, claps, yay. This is the 5th episode, which means we are halfway through the first season of Ask a Scorpio. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm super excited to be halfway through. I love doing this podcast, but yeah, I think it's a lot to edit and do all on my own. So hopefully, if we do come back for season 2, I'll have a little bit of help with marketing it and all those different things so we can get some more wonderful listeners in, so that way I can get more ask in, so that way I can even do a second season or finish the first season. So for all of those of you who have been supporting the podcast, listening, and sending ask, I really, really appreciate you guys. You guys don't understand. You guys are literally what make this podcast happen. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, all of you listeners and supporters, I really, 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 really appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. And I know I say that in every episode, but you guys really don't understand the support that, I feel, and the love that I feel for each of you. And yeah, so before we get into the first ask today, I want to tell you guys 2 things. One, you can submit an ask by going to our Instagram page and reviewing the highlight. It'll tell you how to do it, but there is a Gmail that you can send an audio file to, and there are instructions on how to record that audio file in that highlight on our Instagram page. But if you don't have Instagram, I'll tell you right now, all you do is you go to the audio file recorder on your phone, and you'll just hit record and tell me your sun sign and your age and the sun sign and age of anyone else in the tea you're about to spill or the ask you're about to ask. So yeah, and you will just save that as an audio file and send it into the askascorpio.ask at gmail.com, and we will review it and you can be on the show. So yeah. And our Instagram, by the way, if you want to just go look at the highlight on how to do that, it's ask.a.scorpio on Instagram. So yeah, just go follow us. We also have a Facebook page if you want to go follow that. But yeah, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is, this is the second episode where I'm going to give you guys an oracle channeled reading at the end. So if you'll stick around after the ask, you'll get a free little channeled reading from me. So yeah. And I will tell you the decks that I'm using in the description box or the show notes, depending on where you're listening. So yeah, let's get into the first ask of episode 5.
Hi, Jessica. What are your thoughts on veganism and animal rights? Should we all be working towards helping our planet by eating less meat?
Okay, sis. Look, for all of you who know me, I'm not even kidding. Y'all already know that I'm vegan. Y'all already know that I can sometimes be a little preachy, if that's what you want to call it. I say definitely we should all, I don't want to throw the label that we should all be vegan, but kind of, yeah. Here's the thing. Animal cruelty, tons of people say that they're against animal cruelty, yet they pay for people to torture and kill the very thing that they say that they love. Not only that, it is awful for the environment, and I don't want to go too much into it, but because, I hate to make anyone feel like shit, but here's the thing. If your actions aren't aligned with who you truly are, that's not my problem. If you feel like shit about what you're putting into your body and what you're doing to animals, you should. If you're doing those things, you should feel like shit if that's what you're doing. I'm saying, like, if you already think that those things are wrong, someone pointing out to you that you think you're contradicting your ethics, you shouldn't get angry at that person. And I know that it can feel really overbearing sometimes, because as a vegan, I've been vegan for almost 5 years, I think, and I've got a little V tattoo behind my ear of veganism. And, I had gone back to eating like locally sourced honey for a few months because one of my vocal coaches was telling me about the benefits health-wise. And I was like, well, if they don't clip the beekeeper's wings and they're not harming the bees, then I'm okay with buying local, but I would still like avoid it in other products, But I decided, after talking to a close friend recently, it doesn't align with my morals and values to eat animal products. And, you know, if you're out there, here's the thing too. If you're making any progress, like even if you're a vegetarian or you do meatless Mondays, every little bit counts and every little bit helps. I mean, it took me a year and a half to go completely vegan, but anything that you're doing helps. But I would also say don't stop growing. If you know what your ethics and your morals are, get clear on those and then act accordingly to them. That's basically what veganism is saying, if I'm going to sit here and call myself an animal lover, I can't eat those that I love. Torture and kill and eat those that I love. So yeah, I definitely think and if you look environmentally for your health, all these different things, it can be so amazing when it's done correctly. Just like with any lifestyle change, if you're eating, it can be unhealthy as well. If you're sitting around eating Oreos and Lay's potato chips, which are vegan, you will be unhealthy. So it's all about balance and making sure that you are taking care of your body and you're eating a well-balanced, nutritious diet. And that's, the best that you can do for yourself, But I definitely think everyone should be working towards being vegan. It has literally changed my mental and my physical health tremendously. And, it's just, I think it's just an amazing thing that you can do. And like I said, I never want to shame anyone and make anyone feel bad, but here's the thing, I've got to stand up for what I believe in, and who else, if no one stands up for the animals, who will? Who's going to go in those slaughterhouses and say, don't do this? Or, who's going to stop the demand if we don't, and if no one ever points out to you that you're not acting in alignment with your true ethics and what you believe to be true and right, then how will you ever change and become better, And that's with anything. That's not just with veganism. But yeah, in answer to your question, I do think everyone should be working towards being vegan. But like I said, any little bit counts. And I know that there are people who are going to be in the comments or try to come at me saying like, oh, but I have to have this and I have to have that. If you really do your research, nobody really needs animal products at all. There's no purpose for them. You can get everything that you need from plants, literally everything that you need and more. And here, and I don't want to go too much into it. I digress. But there's some amazing documentaries on Netflix and on Hulu. I think there's some on Hulu. There's some on YouTube. Like, just do your research and start making the change, because it's literally one of the best things you can do for yourself, for the environment, and for the animals. So yeah, thanks for sending in that question. I really appreciate it. I send love and light to you, and if you're vegan, thanks. I usually vegans ask other vegans those questions. That's kind of what I got from it. But yeah, and to anyone who's making any amount of effort, the animals appreciate it, I appreciate it, and the planet appreciates it. And you'll also know, before I end this, I do want to say there's a lot of people in the spiritual community that actually eat plant-based because of the effects that it has on your aura, because you're eating live foods, like foods that are not rotten, basically, because that's what meat is. It's death. It's not only that, when the animals are killed, they are in a low vibration. Their entire body and being is vibrating on a low vibration. And so when you ingest that, you're eating that low vibration, and that's going to become one with your digestive tract in your system. So when you're eating live plants, that's their purpose, is to be nutritious. And I think anyway, like, I'm not 100% religious, but I do like to refer to different religious texts, including the Bible. But if you go back and look at the Garden of Eden, the plants were made for the animals to eat. The animals, some animals eat each other, but humans were originally supposed to eat just the plants in the garden. That's what our bodies were designed for. Again, I don't want to go into it and make it a big thing, but it is kind of a big thing, and it's, it can really have an impact on your aura and your vibe and your progress in health and in well-being. And yeah, I think just more plant-based foods in general will make you feel good, even if you're not going 100% vegan. I highly recommend it. But if you're not going 100% vegan, just eating better foods and eating foods that are nutritious and good for you and make you feel good. So yeah, okay, now I will leave that there. Again, thank you so much for sending in that ask. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I send love and light to you. All right, let's listen to the next ask.
Okay, I am a 23-year-old Capricorn, and the person that this has to do with is my 39-year-old Cancer mother. In the last couple of years, she's become really toxic, or I've just noticed it a lot more. She still has contact with an ex of mine that has basically put me through hell, put her hands on me, threatened to have my children taken away, tried to have my children taken away, tried to run me over, busted a window of my car with my baby in the back seat. Like, it's just a toxic environment, and yeah, I've brought it back and forth for a long time. But as far as my mom, she just doesn't care how I feel about the situation. She says that my ex hasn't done anything to her, so she shouldn't have to cut her off. But in my eyes, she's my mother, and she should, cut off the person that I'm trying to cut all ties with. She doesn't really care how anyone else feels. She says what she wants, and that's where I get it from. She has told me multiple times that she should have taken custody of my daughter, and it blows my mind how blunt, I guess you could say, she is about the situations. I don't know if at this point she's better to just cut off or, limit our communications. I just don't know what to do. I mean, she's my mom and I love her, but and when I think of her, I just think of negative, toxic, like, it's just awful and I hate it, but I don't know what to do in the situation. So if you could give me some type of advice on what to do in the situation.
Okay, so first I just want to commend you for sending in that ask. It can be really scary to send in family matters, so I really appreciate you being brave and sending that in case there's anyone else in the audience who is having this same issue. My heart goes out to you for sure, and anyone else who is going through this situation, because parents, it's one of the hardest things to let go of when it comes to their energy, and I'll get more into that, but yeah, I really appreciate you being brave and sending that in because it can be really scary to ask about those types of matters. So, yeah, I think, I'll start off by saying I think that your energy is most important, first and foremost. It doesn't matter if they're your parent, your grandparent, aunt, uncle, child, even, once they're grown, of course. But when you've got someone who is causing you pain, and maybe someone who hasn't dealt with their traumas, the first thing I think is important to step away from the situation. And again, let's first look on the inside and see maybe how this is a pattern or this is a trigger that we need to deal with. Like, maybe there's some suppressed emotion that the universe is trying to tell us we need to feel and release. So I would go ahead and, first of all, take a step back and look inwards first and just make sure that if this is just a trigger, then you can figure that out simultaneously while dealing with this relationship. So I'm not saying do one without the other. It's definitely a team effort, but this could be a trigger or a pattern that keeps showing up for you in different people, since I'm hearing about the ex, and that seemed like very toxic energy, and now it's bled over into your mother. So I would definitely say this sounds like it could be a repeated pattern. So I would go ahead and go in and do some shadow work. I've got a video on my YouTube channel that's going up soon, if it's not already up, which is basically my story with shadow work, or my journey so far with shadow work, and maybe that can give some of you guys an insight on shadow work. But yeah, I would definitely say look inward first, and then moving on to the relationship. So cut and dry, your energy is most important. If your energy and your cup is not full, there's no way you can provide for your children. You won't have any energy to take care of them or yourself, or others around you, or your work matters, or anything like that, let alone have time to be happy and enjoy your life. So I would definitely say it's really important that if someone is triggering you all the time, or maybe this is a mix between your patterns playing out and their patterns playing out, or their repressed emotions being lashed out on you, just give it some time. I would definitely say give them time to, when I say give them time, I mean, like, yes, maybe start pulling back some, just with no explanation. There's no need to, especially if you think they're going to lash out toxically. That's for anyone. If you have a feeling that this person is going to lash out at you, there's no need for an explanation. Just slowly start pulling back. And if they reach out in a friendly way, you can be friendly back. But yeah, I would definitely say just be more cautious of your energy and cautious of how you feel when they do reach out, because it could be some of their energy in general that's bothering you, or it could be again a pattern that you see playing out. And maybe when you fix that in yourself, maybe it will bleed over, the reflection will then be better and you won't have to deal with that anymore. But I would say simultaneously, I would say just slowly start cutting out connections, and maybe not necessarily block them and completely block them out of your life, but especially if they're giving you troubles, just block communication and just take the time to really go inward and, focus on your pattern and your healing. And then if something does come up and they do want to talk and you're ready to talk, you can sit down and just explain to them how these different things hurt you and how they make you feel. And it can be really weird to talk about feelings. I know it's hard for me too, and I'll get into a personal situation in just a second to help relate. But yeah, I would definitely say take a few steps back and observe the situation from an outside point of view, so that way you can get clarity on your personal patterns and what's trying to play out and what the universe wants you to grow and learn from this situation. And then as you do that, draw back communication. And like I said, and then if it comes down to it, or eventually, it will come down to it, this being your mom. If you want this to continue to be a relationship, you can tell them that. Just tell them how you feel. Be like, I do really, you're my mom, and I love you, and I want a good, healthy relationship with you. But if you're not willing to bring the positivity to this relationship, then I can't continue to put energy into this, because it's draining me. And it's taking away from me what I need to be for my children and for myself, and to fill my own cup. And it's like you're taking out of my cup. So I would definitely say that would be my advice on the situation. And I'm gonna tell you, I know this can be hard though, because in my situation, how it was with my mom isn't necessarily, she's not toxic. I know, I guess everyone can be toxic at some point, so I guess sometimes she can be. But in general, she's not like a narcissist or anything. I think that's because she was raised by one. But anyways, enough of that. We'll leave that there. But there was a time when I had just broken up with one relationship where he had cheated on me multiple times. I had cheated on him too, so it wasn't, it wasn't like I wasn't in the wrong. But it just wasn't a good relationship. But him and my mom, and him and my family in general, I'd brought him around a bunch. He had gotten really close to my family, and because his family was a bit broken, so I think he had my mom had really taken him under her wing. And so I had just gotten into a new relationship though, and so my newer boyfriend, did not like that my mom was still checking in on him. And then me being with my boyfriend, I was like, well, I was just like, I had a bit of compassion for the situation, but it could be that me and that boyfriend, I mean, I was a little bit resentful that she would still want to communicate with him or still want to be supportive of him after he had done those things to me. But, coming from a few years later now, I realized on the outside looking in, I can see that she really did help him accomplish some good things in his life, and he was really, really grateful for that. And and I don't know, it wasn't as toxic of a situation as yours though. So I will say it is a bit different. So I feel like I was able to have a bit more compassion because, like you said, that was some crazy stuff that you said. Busting the window out of your car, putting their hands on you. This had never happened to me and this guy. I think one time we got into a heated argument or something, and he got really upset. But it was never like any knockdown, drag out. It's like full blown, like what you're saying. So, it can be really, it can feel like the person that you love should be on your side, but sometimes that's just not how it plays out. Especially when someone gets attached to someone. Over time, they quit communicating. And I saw just like the same. I saw his grandmother in Walmart, and I was like, "Hey, how are?" Like I went up and gave her a hug, and there's no need for any. I think when you break up with someone, there's no need to Of course, you don't want to be overbearing on their family because that connection has been gone, especially, and it can be disrespectful to your new partner. So I would definitely say don't do that. But she had seen me, and I saw her, and that was it. It wasn't constant ongoing communication. Same with my mom and him. The ex-boyfriend. It's not like they were talking every day. So I don't know if this is your case, but it was just she would check on him every couple months and just be like, "Hey, how are you? I heard you got this job. I hope you're doing well." That type of thing. So it wasn't like anything super crazy. Or he would reach out every once in a while and be like, "I just want to thank you so much." And I know because I saw the messages. But yeah, I would just say it's such an individual different situation. But with my situation, it wasn't as bad. But I know that it can be super frustrating when your parent is taking the side of, or it feels like they're taking the side of someone else, especially when you feel like you were wronged. And in your situation, I think it is a bit more, I don't want to say stabbing in the back or betray, but I mean, if someone put your grandchildren or your children in danger, that I don't understand. I feel like had he ever put his hands on me, my mom would probably have killed him. Just kidding. She would not kill anyone. But that rage would have been there, so I don't know. Some people take that differently. Some people don't see it as, you hurt my daughter, you hurt a piece of me, you hurt, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not inside the situation, so I don't know, but I can say that it could be that here's the thing. Everyone is operating on their level of consciousness. That is not good or bad, but it can put you in toxic situations for your health and your cup, and and it can really, really take a detriment on you. So you are most important in that situation, and your well-being and your children's well-being, that's your job, is to be a mom right now and to take care of your children. But it's most important that you take care of yourself first. And if that means cutting this tie for a little while and maybe coming back to it later when it's not as bubbly, or not when I say bubbly, but not as festered up, not as infected. I don't know. I'm thinking like a wound. But yeah, I think for sure this can be a very draining situation. So, like I said before, see how this is something that you are. See how this may be a pattern that's trying to play out through your mom that has been previously played out through romantic partners, maybe, and yeah, see how you can fix the inside and see if that fixes the outside, and then eventually just sit down and have that talk and be like, I really want you in my life. You're my mom, and I love you, and I really value our relationship, but I can't deal with this toxicity. I left that person in the past for a reason. I don't want my children, if that's how you feel, I don't want my children to have contact with that person. I don't want I would prefer you not to have contact with that person. It makes me uncomfortable, and just along those lines. And if she can't understand that, then it's not worth a relationship having. There are plenty other fulfilling relationships that will, and it can be hard. Like I've seen, I haven't had to cut off a parent, but my mom's mom is extremely narcissistic, and I've had to cut off my grandma for that, and that grandma anyway. And my mom's had to cut off her mom, and it's been so hard for her over these past couple of years, and I finally got my mom to go to therapy over it. Not to share too much information, but like therapy's good for anyone, by the way. I mean, she's seen so much healing. So I've seen it happen. I've seen healing happen from situations like this, and the healing that can come from cutting off toxic people, even if that is your parent. It can be so healing, and it can be so fulfilling to fill your life with people who are fulfilled and loved and healed, and or are on the process and on the journey to healing. So yeah, I send you so much love and light to you and your mom and your children, and again, you. No, so much light to you, and again, thank you so much for being courageous enough and brave enough to send this in. And I hope that there's other people that this helps who listen to the podcast. So yeah, that is it for the ask today. So now I'm going to pull out the oracle cards and give all you listeners a message. Okay? So I'm working with, there's 2 different decks I'm using. I'm going to pull one from each. So we've got the Universe Has Your deck, or the Universe Has Your back deck, and the Spirit Animal Oracle, which is so beautiful. If you guys do decide to, I'm going to put links below to them, so that way give credit where credit is due for these amazing decks. So yeah, I'm going to pull you one from, let's see, what's something my listeners need to hear? The listeners of the Ask a Scorpio podcast, what is a message for them today? Okay. Your first one is, my outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. That is so funny, since the last ask. So if you're still listening, the person from the last ask, if you're listening to this episode, this could be reading some of your energy. But maybe this was perfect timing. Maybe some of you needed to hear that message as well. So I hope that's the case. I hope this helps as many people as possible. So yeah, the card is, my outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. And it's a beautiful card. It's got blue, watercolor blues, and purples, which tend to be connected to the higher up chakras. So yeah, I think, going in and doing that work can be hard, and it can be difficult, but it's so worth it, the healing that comes from it. And then you'll start to notice that your outer experiences become so beautiful and so amazing and so aligned with good and wonderful things. And yeah. So I'm going to pull one more card, and this is from the Spirit Animal Oracle for you guys. And let's see. The Snake Spirit. This is actually one of my spirit animals. Hi there, Mr. Snake, Mrs. Snake. Goodness gracious. Sorry, these cards are... Okay, there we go. So the number at the top of the card is 55, which makes 10, which if you reduce goes down to 1. So this is definitely about the self. I think if you look at the numerologic, oh wait, I don't know how to say it. Numerology? If you look at like the meaning of the number that's at the top, 55, which is an angel number in and of itself because it's a repeated number, but also when you reduce it to 1, it's of the self. So you've got spirit around you at all times, and the Snake Spirit says time to heal. I think that says so much about like healing yourself, and I think that's for a lot of you guys, and I love how this pertains to the last ask so much. That gives me a sign that maybe there's a lot of you who are dealing with a similar situation and can really benefit from this. So yeah, the Snake Spirit, maybe look up the snake as a spirit animal. If that's one of your spirit animals, let me know down below in the comments if you're listening on YouTube. Yeah, let me know. But yeah, so I would definitely say it's time to heal your inner self. I think that's the time on the planet as we're going into the age of Aquarius. It's really time. That's been the whole theme of this year, is stuff coming up for us to heal as a society, as people. And yeah, as you do heal and as you heal those inner experiences, your outer experiences will begin to be so much more beautiful and aligned with the healing the work that you've put in for the healing. Nothing else will replace healing yourself. Nothing. It will maybe short term, maybe eating's your thing. I know that was my thing for a long time. Alcohol, drugs, TV, even social media is a big one for a lot of people. Spend some time in silence with yourself and just allow yourself to heal, because you deserve it. You deserve so much love and light and amazingness. All of you, everyone listening. Yeah, love you guys. I will see you in episode number 6. So, yeah, love and light to all of you. Bye, guys.